And who else can fill up? Only MAGA. We use it. But whoever fills big places like this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So that's Donald Trump talking once again about his crowds, and he seems pretty confident now. He's not only happy to see the people that are there, but he's happy for himself to be the sort of man that can pack a stadium like that. He's going to draw attention to how packed that stadium. It's not though. You probably suspected it's not. Take a look.
And who else can fill up? Only MAGA. We use it. But whoever fills big places like this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Everyone in that crowd knows that place is not filled up. It's not filled up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not filled up at 2:30. It's not filled up at 4. It wasn't filled. In fact, it was never going to be filled because it's not even like there were tons of bleachers that were empty. The seats weren't set up because they knew there weren't going to be people there. I mean, maybe they put the seats and they took them away. I think it's more likely that they knew what sort of RSVP numbers they had, and so they did it accordingly. And by the way, as always is the case when talking about Donald Trump lying about his crowd size, the crowd that he had looked fine. I think that was a pretty good looking crowd. Now, it looks good because you crammed them all into one end of the room or whatever, but it's perfectly fine. I don't understand. If you're a MAGA person, you're in that room, he is lying to your face and you cheer support for the lie. I know that people for the last 70 years or whatever have thrown around, well, probably not that long, have thrown around the term Orwellian. But this feels wildly Orwellian, that they are actively and enthusiastically participating in something that rejects the evidence of their eyes, Brett. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really sad, and I feel bad for them. But that's the whole point, man. I don't know. There's all different ways to look at it. There's ways that you give them like the benefit and you romanticize it. If I were to romanticize it, it's like all those people want is to be seen and in charge. And they want someone to tell them that they're awesome. And they're begging for permission not to believe their eyes because they felt so disenfranchised for so long. Now, a realist would show and be like, how much more disenfranchised are you than the person you're vilifying versus the person who's telling you on stage right now you're disenfranchised. Donald Trump is a bagajillionaire who was born a bagajillionaire. And you would rather ally with him because he's kind of a jerk and is saying stuff you like versus the other person who's actually, if you look on paper, done more for you than he ever would want to, let alone done. That's sad.
Look,
but that said, yeah. And like, honestly, if Donald Trump doesn't pack, like Donald Trump should be able to pack that gym. The high school can pack that gym. The high school, that's the high school's gym. They can pack it. You can't. And what's crazy to me is like, these things are supposed to be the giant thing. Like, I live in Los Angeles. Los Angeles has these two football teams, the Chargers and the Rams, and they can't fill the stadium with the fans. Why? Because there's so much else to do in the city.
It's also
there's
a
lot
stadium
going on. It's a massive city, but there's so much else to do.
No, I mean, a massive stadium. SoFi has a lot of seats. That makes it even harder. But
right. So, but so there's so much else going on. Like when Donald Trump goes to these places, like where he's the hero, he should pack the place.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. And so he's failing. And it's so sad. And the worst part is like half that is like the reporters who are supposed to write like it actually wasn't packed. I'm sitting in a big empty area. But he's saying they're liars. He's just giving them permission not to believe their eyes, and that's so depressing.
Very strange. Yeah, and again, like, see, he was just talking a couple days ago about because I couldn't do an outdoor thing because the Democrats are trying to kill me by having Republicans shoot at me or whatever. 50,000 people had to be turned away at the door. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess no. I don't think that that's actually what happened.
Yeah.
It's so like. And again, it's the fact that he's lying to your face. Like if the people in the audience right now, I'm sure like you're watching the show, you probably generally support me or whatever. Maybe some of you hate watching, but like if I lied, not just lied in general, but lied about you, the audience, I would think that you would call it out and you should be able to just be happy about what you actually have. It's why I always give credit to the crowds they actually does have. And so like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna thank right now on YouTube, there are 27,000 people watching, and I love it. Most people couldn't fill a stream, at 10:43 Pacific, but thank you to the 27,000 of you that are watching now. Anyway, with that said, let's turn to, we do have the Washington Post talking to people who left early, because he has recently acknowledged that, even though he denied it during his debate with Harris. So Trump often runs late and goes long, prompting many to bow out because of other responsibilities, priorities, or sometimes waning patience and interest. So they talked to a bunch of people. Those are some of the reasons that were given. Others complained about sound quality. One man wanted to go home to his French bulldog. I love that man. Another needed to get home to his daughter, which makes sense. A third had a Yorkie with him that started acting out. A fourth man said his phone died. Well, what does that have to do with anything? So basically the sort of, excuses you would expect. A lot of them have other responsibilities. A lot of them have French bulldogs. And so it makes sense to me. And again, just accept it, accept reality. I think that we are a country that is not going to succeed if we cannot come to grips with what's actually true and what's actually happening. I feel like that needs to be the foundation of whatever it is that we do to try to improve things. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?